Hello, Miss Tammy here. Today we're going to be previewing our math lesson for tomorrow. So what we're going to look at is how to compare two different sets to determine how many more, and we'll also look at writing subtraction sentences to go along with it. So let's start with something that's pretty familiar to us. We work a lot with math cubes. So here we have two math trains, math cube trains. And we have a red train and we have a blue train. Basically train because we're talking about math cubes that you can connect like a train. So in the red train, I look at this and I see, well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes in this train. And in my blue train, I have 1, 2, 3. I think we can quickly just visually with our eyes look at the red train and know that there are more cubes in it, right? When we compare things side by side, it's a little bit easier to compare. One thing we've looked at before in class is if we draw lines, it helps us to focus on how many we have. So I've done that here. Is there at least one cube in both trains? Yes. Are there 2 in both trains? Yes. Are there 3 in both trains? Yes. Are there 4 cubes in both trains? No, there aren't. So this is what we would call the extra cube. And as we can see, there's 1 extra red cube in the red train than in the blue train. Here's the cube that would be missing, would be in this place. Now, we can also write a subtraction sentence, which I have done, and a subtraction sentence will help us to find the same answer that we just found by looking at the two different sets. So when we're writing a subtraction sentence to find out how many more cubes are in one train than the other, we start with the big number. Of course, we started with 4 because there are 4 cubes in the red train, and that was the longer train, right? And then we want to subtract the number of cubes in the second train. In this case, it's 3 because there are 3 cubes in the blue train. So when we take 3 away from 4, what's left is 1, the same answer we just got. So 4 take away 3 equals 1. You can also check this with using your fingers if you'd like. Okay, let's practice another one. Again, we're going to look at visually how we can do this and then our subtraction sentence. So I look, and again, they're side by side, so it's fairly easy to determine just by looking at the trains which one has more cubes. Certainly it's the red train. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes in the red train. So I've started my subtraction sentence with that, 4, because again, we always start subtraction with the big number. Okay, so I have 4 cubes in my red train, and I'm going to take away the 1, 2 cubes in my blue train, and that leaves me with 2 cubes. Those are the extra cubes, right? That's how many more cubes are in my red train than my blue train. So we just looked at this visually with our eyes, how to compare it, and with our subtraction sentence. Let's try one more before you're ready to practice on your own. So we'll do the same thing. We want to look visually and then go to our subtraction sentence to help us determine how many more blue cubes than red cubes do we have. So I'm just looking, and because I have the two cube trains right next to each other, I can quickly determine that the blue train has more cubes than the red train, so I know that will be the number I start with. So let's just go ahead and count how many blue cubes we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've already plugged this into my subtraction sentence, 7. I started with 7 because that's my big number, and we know we can only take away from the biggest number, right? Not the smallest number. So there are 7 blue cubes. And I'm going to take away the number of red cubes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I plug that in here. So 7, take away 4, and that is going to equal 3. You can check that with your fingers. If you hold up 7 fingers and then take away 4 of them, you'll see that you have 3 fingers left. And again, visually with our eyes, I can see that that's true when I look at these two sets. They both have 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes, but look, here are my extra cubes. 1, 2, 3 extra cubes. Same answer we got here. So that means there are 3 more blue cubes than there are red cubes. Okay, that now takes us to our homework for tonight, which is really just one problem that I'd like you to work on. I'd like you to look at the math train of the blue cubes and red cubes. You are going to compare both math trains to determine how many more blue cubes are there than red cubes. How many more blue cubes are there than red cubes? So I'm going to take you to our homework question, and then I will take you back to this screen, and perhaps you can have mom or dad pause this screen so that you may answer the question. So this is what your homework question will look like, more or less. There are blank more blue cubes than red cubes. So on this line, you're going to write the number that shows how many more blue cubes than red cubes are. And then right here, you are going to write a subtraction sentence to show how many more blue cubes than red cubes there are. So I'll take you back to the next screen, have mom and dad pause it for you, and then you can look at the picture to help answer this question. Thank you, and I know you're going to do a fantastic job on this.